is when the paintings work, it's through no effort of my own. Okay, like you can't force a painting. You have to follow a painting. And if I'm really listening, the painting works because I'll follow it. And I think in these I'm doing that. So I guess, yeah. So I'm trying to figure out a sense of what my place is, and you know, in an honest way. You know, I can't pretend I was, you know, I'm an icon painter from the medieval period. I mean, it was fun for a while to pretend that. But, you know, and learn about what that part of our, you know, painting heritage is about, and that kind of overt or specific spirituality was nice. And I think what I like about this, it's, you know, it's more of a, you know, more of a real in some ways, you know, a real experience of what it's like to just think about nature, you know, when you go back to your studio, and what that experience was like, because they're not things that I do sitting out there. You know, I do sketches, and I do like a lot of sketches sitting outside, but these aren't those. These are coming back to the studio and remembering and listening to what that experience was about, and seeing what it wants to tell me about it in the paint. Things like this. I think I like doing landscape. It just really is so funny. My dad's been surrounded by landscape all my life, and I think that's why I've never done it. So it's like, okay, it's actually fun. It's really, you know, it's a vehicle for paint. It's just kind of fun. Yeah. And this is these are kayakers. I've been doing kayaking a lot. Excuse me, recently, and so I've included a few kayakers in there. And this is down on the arm, and this is that area where they clear cut, and I can just see these sort of sad trees that look like they. But anyway, and then I thought, oh yes, and then the building over there is like a big alien going in, and I did it in Sharpie marker because I thought, well, I'm going to do this oil painting. You know, oil paint is very traditional, and Sharpie marker is far from traditional, and really has sort of almost a discordance with the material. So, and I kind of thought, well, whatever's going on over there. And I love Sharpie marker, actually. I like putting it on oil painting. That's got Sharpie on it, and that's got Sharpie, and that's got Sharpie. And it's beautiful. It's permanent ink, and it has a way of kind of bleeding through, and you can kind of push it back, and you can, anyway, Sharpie's great. So this one here is a painting called, it's based on one of the Luminists, East Coast Luminists from Maine area. It's called Ships in Ice off 10-Pound Harbor. And it was a painting that I studied, and I wrote a paper on, I don't know, when I was in university, and studied in art history. And it's a boat that gets locked in the ice in Maine. And anyway, I wanted to do a version of that. This was last winter when we had a lot of snow, and I was doing a lot of snow scenes around Halifax. See those little figures walking up to the boat, and there's a comet. I forget the name of that comet, but there was a comet at the time of that phenomenon. Here's another kayaking one. So this is based on a photograph actually by my friend Erin Leande, who was kayaking with one of the swimmers who did the channel, or called it, is it the channel? Yeah, that thing. The span between PEI and New Brunswick or Nova Scotia. I can't remember where they ended up going from, but there was a photo, and I just really loved the way it was kind of, I don't know, skewed a bit, and the light was really beautiful. It was sort of foggy, weird blue light that permeated the whole thing, and then all these kayakers and people in their wetsuits. And they're built from, I guess, the experience of just walking around and looking at things that are around me. Yeah. And yeah, this one here is done in, that's just a view of the, in the frog pond area. And I love the way when people are walking in front of you on the path and they just, you know, the perspective that they afford the landscape. Anyway, but I thought sometimes there's a lot of people that are just on their own walking, so I just put them in after the fact. They were, you know, just individuals walking into the woods. And, oh, those figures were taken from somewhere completely different, because I didn't want to take people anyway that didn't know. But so that was just a graphic, and just plop them in there. This is actually a still from a film board film. It was called First Winter, and it's a woman walking, I think, with her child through very deep snow, and I think they were pioneers, and it was, I think, set in the Maritimes. I'm not sure, I can't remember, but it was about early pioneers that were living here and having to survive the winter. Anyway, and it was when we had a lot of snowstorms here last year, and that one as well was painting as well with the a lot of white. That's around the area of Long Pond, and it's Long Pond area, and the snow is.
Something?
Yeah, let's pull that out. Maybe I'll hang it up a little higher. How about that? So we can look at it properly. Or maybe I'll just, yeah, hang it on top of this one. There we go. Okay.
I know, I'm following you around. It's probably driving me nuts, but.
Okay, so it's this painting is based on some photos of students climbing in a climber with their sketch with drawing boards. So I had taken my art class outside, and they all wanted to climb and do drawings while they sat inside the climber. So they sat in the climbers, and they drew each other sitting in the climber, and I took pictures of them, and then just took a few sections, and I did a whole bunch of these photos and views of them sitting in the climber with their drawing boards, and I just like the way they look. They're silhouetted, and so these are some of the students at the grammar school. Just anonymous, so I know who they are, but they're not obvious.